Morning, everybody. And we're going to just start it in an easy seated position. So, settling in this morning into our bodies. So, finding our own easy position to sit. So, if that involves, if that involves sitting up on a bolster or a block or some pillows or a blanket, or maybe it's coming into just rooted into the floor, whatever's going to work for us as we begin to just get into our bodies and recognize what's going on today. So as we settle in for this morning, we'll just start to notice the body to start. So if there's any movement, small movements that you feel like you need to kind of invite in, by all means do that, but then just try to see if we can settle. Taking this opportunity to settle into the body, feeling grounded through our pelvis, feeling ease through the forehead, ease through the shoulders and the neck. Maybe we can find ease in the chest, ease in the belly, maybe some ease in the hips. And just starting from the top of the head, doing an internal body scan, noticing if there's any parts of the body that are speaking to you a little bit more loudly this morning. Or maybe there's some spots of the body that feel really, really sweet and easy. So just taking note of our body right here, right now, in this moment, on this Tuesday morning. And as we're doing our body scan, we can start to bring our awareness to the breath. No need to shape it or change it, just recognizing and feeling the breath. Where in the body do we feel the breath today? Do we feel the breath in the low belly? Are we feeling the breath in the mid-chest? Are we feeling the breath in the upper body? Or maybe we even feel the breath as it's coming out of our nostrils. And no judgment, no expectations of what the breath needs to be this morning. We're just recognizing and just bringing awareness to the power of the breath. And as we're focusing on the breath, we can start to bring our awareness to the mind. What thoughts are coming into the mind? Is our mind busy this morning? Is our mind quiet? How is our breath feeling this morning? Or excuse me, how is our mind feeling in relationship to the breath? And maybe even in relationship to the body as well. Healthy thinking is when we choose to guide our thoughts in a way that benefits our best self. Every thought, especially our repetitive thoughts, manifests itself in our lives. For example, if we are stuck in a thought of cycle of I am not good enough, we will start to see the outside world affirm that thought. We may also find our behavior begin to affirm that thought when we isolate ourselves from the people in our lives who love us and know that we are good enough. Since our thoughts are what frame our lives, the first step to constructing a healthy life is to construct healthy thoughts. Healthy thinking does not mean you never have dark thoughts. It just means that you don't stay in unhelpful thoughts long enough for them to influence your reality. We become the stories we tell ourselves. So it is crucial that we, as narrators, frame our experiences with thoughts that heal, nurture, and motivate us. We are more in charge of our thoughts than we think. Keep your inner world loving and hopeful, and your outside world will begin to reflect exactly that. So as we start to come into our practice today, let's bring that idea to thought. What is our intention today? Or maybe it's our intention for the next few minutes together today. What is something that you want to bring into your day? And it could be an affirmation, something as simple as, I am grounded, I am safe, I am content, I am exactly where I need to be, I am enough, I receive what I need, I release what I don't. Whatever our intention may be for ourselves, this will be our focus for our practice today. And we're going to keep coming back to that intention. So taking a moment to settle in with that intention and repeating it to yourself a couple of times, just so it feels kind of natural and we can easily remember what our intention is for today. And taking one more cycle of breath, repeating that intention to ourselves or that affirmation or our focus for the day. And then we can slowly bat the eyes open if they were closed. We're going to start to invite some movement into the body, starting really simple just with the head. So we're going to take our head and we're going to allow our head to be heavy as we look down at our feet, finding that flexion through our cervical spine. Noticing the stretch through the back of the body as we allow the head to be heavy. And taking an inhale, allowing that head to float on up. Nice and easy, no need to crunch the back of the neck. We're just finding our natural range of motion this morning, gazing up towards the sky. And then again, on the exhale, allowing our gaze to look down at the floor as we start to find the flexion through the cervical spine, allowing the shoulders to be nice and heavy. And on our inhale, we bring our head on up. So moving through our range of motion with flexion and extension of our cervical spine, moving with the breath. So the inhale, we find the lift. And on our exhale, we allow that chin to be heavy. Again, inhaling to lift. And exhale, fall. And obviously, if there's any spots that we find that maybe need a little extra love, we could always invite in a little self-massage as well, especially depending on how we slept last night. Our neck might be feeling some stuff. So whenever we feel satisfied with the up and down, we're going to come back to center. We're going to do a little pre-test here. We're going to allow our head just to kind of rotate side to side. Now, we don't have to force anything, but I would like you to notice where in your neck, or if you're feeling any tension, just pay attention to it. We're not trying to get rid of it right now. We're just noticing as we allow that head to rotate side to side. What do we notice in the neck as we start to rotate through our cervical spine? And once we've gone side to side, we're going to come back to center. We're going to do a little vagus nerve activation. So we're going to allow the head to tilt on over to one side, feeling the length through the side of the neck. And of course, if any of this is too much, we can always come out of it too. So listening to our bodies here. And then the next step we're going to do is we're going to take our eyes up to the diagonal, so the opposite diagonal in which we are tilting our head. We're going to allow those eyes to look up towards that upward diagonal. And we're going to breathe easy here. So finding a long inhale and a long exhale. And again, long inhale and deep exhale. One more time, inhaling and exhale, let it go. And we'll slowly bring ourselves back to center, noticing how we feel, and then allow that head to rotate side to side. Noticing if we have any more freedom or ease in the neck. And then we'll come back to center. We'll go the opposite direction. So allowing that head to tilt on over to the opposite side to start. And then from here, we'll take the eyes up to the opposite diagonal toward the opposite end of our ear. So as we look up at that diagonal, again, let's bring our awareness to that breath. You feel a deep inhale and a long exhale. As we're slowly starting to shape our breath this morning, finding that inhale, long exhale. And one more time, inhaling. Exhale, release. And then we'll slowly bring ourselves back to center. Notice any shifts, any changes, and then we'll allow that neck just to rotate side to side again. And being aware of any shifts, any changes that may have happened. Coming back into that breath. And we'll come back to center, allowing ourselves to settle just for a moment. Noticing any changes, any changes or anything that is bringing, our body is bringing up to the surface. So let's just take an inhale here. Long exhale out. One more time, a nice inhale. And our next exhale, we'll find flexion. So coming into our cat in a seated position. So we're allowing our belly to round. We're looking down at that belly button, feeling that flexion through the spine. Noticing any places here in the body. If we need to find a little wiggle room, by all means, always can. And then on our next inhale, we'll start to find expansion through the spine, allowing that chest to easily open. The gaze just follows. And again, on our exhale, we round on through that spine, feeling each vertebrae, the opportunity to move. Noticing how each and every vertebrae feels this morning. And then we'll find our inhale again as we find our length through the chest, through that back, nice and easy, no need to force anything. And on the exhale, we find our flexion. So moving through our seated cat and cow here at our own tempo, our own rhythm, as long as we're going with the body. And here we can start to invite in that intention again. So noticing, does it feel more natural to say that intention when we find our extension? Or maybe it feels more natural to say that intention as we find our flexion. So where in the body does it feel more natural to say our intention for the day? Maybe if our intention is something related to softness or ease or gentleness or self-care, maybe finding that flexion as we say that feels more natural. Maybe if our intention is more about this outward expression, maybe finding that extension feels more natural to say our intention. So wherever it is in your body, allowing ourselves to continue with that flexion and extension and repeating that intention for ourselves as well. So evening ourselves out, exhale as we find that flexion. Inhale as we find our extension. And then we'll come back to center, allowing ourselves to feel grounded on those sit bones, noticing how our spine is feeling, how our back is feeling. And we're going to take a little lateral lean. So we've leaned to one side. And if we like, we can keep the hand down. Maybe that's where our expression of our lateral flexion is today. Or maybe we want to put the hand on the shoulder. Maybe it feels better to reach the arm all the way up. So making a choice here for ourselves. Where does our arm want to be? How far do we want to be leaning today? Maybe we come all the way to the elbow. Maybe it's more of a hand. So finding our version of this lateral flexion on the floor today. Feeling that rib cage expanding as it opens on up. Nice and easy through our jaw. Easy through the forehead. And we'll press ourselves all the way back up and we'll go to the other side. So allowing ourselves to settle into the opposite side, noticing how that feels in the body today. One side might feel different than the other. We are not symmetrical beings as much as we want to be. So we need to honor where our body is right here, right now in this moment. Noticing if a spot needs a little bit of extra love. We need to breathe into it a little bit more. Again, finding that expansion through the rib cage as it reaches up towards the sky. And then we'll find a little flow. So we'll find our inhale to lift. Let's take our exhale to contract to the side. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to contract. Inhaling to lift, center. Exhaling, lean. One more time. Inhaling to lift. And exhaling to lean. Coming back into our center, finding our rotation, relaxing the shoulders down and back, and now from the root of our spine, so our sit bones, we're going to find that rotation. So arms are just along for the ride. We'll take our inhale. Exhale as we rotate. Now we want to find that rotation from our spine. So the arms are not doing the movement. They are just going along for the ride. We allow our back and our spine and our lumbar spine and our thoracic spine to find that rotation this morning. Holding, taking a nice inhale. And a long exhale. And our next inhale will come to center. Reverse into the other side. On our exhale, we'll find our rotation. Again, we find that rotation from our core, and the arms are just there for the ride. Feeling length through the top of the spine, all the way reaching through the top of the head, and heaviness through the pelvis. Finding that inhale. And exhale. And then on our next inhale, we'll come back to center. So finding our own flow. Inhaling. Exhale, twist. Inhaling, center. Exhale, twist. Wringing out all of our organs. Feeling that rotation from the bony structure of the spine. One more time. Inhaling, center. Exhaling to rotate. Again, moving through our range of motion this morning. We are honoring the body we have right here, right now. We are honoring the range of motion we have right here, right now. Not the body that we wish we had or the range of motion we wish we had. It's what we have right here, right now in this moment. And then once we've evened ourselves out, we're going to come back to center and we're going to stir it up a little bit. So starting to find a little bit of our flexion into our lateral movement, into our extension, and then back into the flexion on the opposite side. So we're making circles in whichever direction we want. We'll inhale as we come forward. Exhale as we round it on through. Inhaling forward and around. So we're finding our circular motion here, starting again, like I said, to stir it up. So, especially if we have a busy day ahead of us, sometimes we just got to kind of move that energy around so it doesn't get stagnant. I want to have nice fluid motion here through the body. We can make this as big or as small as we like, moving as fast or as slow as we like as well. So noticing what does it feel like in the body today to move like this, especially if it's early in the morning for us. What does it feel like? And then once we feel satisfied, we can go in the opposite direction. So listening to the body, noticing when it wants to move in a different way, in a different range of motion, in a different tempo. As long as we're moving with that breath, it's all good, friends. So we find that exhale and inhale, moving through our spine, but we're super grounded through the pelvis. So we got that grounded foundation here, heavy through the pelvis. We start to find motion and energy shifts above us. So we always have our foundation here, coming back to that foundation, whether physically with the body or maybe even with the breath. Kneeling that foundation as things start to shift and move and change. So, and then when we're ready, we'll come back into center, allowing all that movement to settle in, noticing how we feel. let's check back in with our intention. So finding that inhale and exhale. What's that intention that we have for ourselves today? What is that focus? What is that want? What is that desire for ourselves today? Let's bring that into action, bring that into fruition today. Knowing that the power of the mind has the ability to change a lot in our lives. So let's embrace that powerful muscle that we have. Awesome. All right. So then we're going to transition into all fours. So take your time, moving as you need to here. So checking in with the body as we start to shift our foundation. So starting to move a little bit into less solid of a foundation, but we still, again, we have a foundation of our core, we have our foundation of our breath. So we're going to come into all fours. And before we get settled completely, we're going to do a little shift side to side. So we're shifting our weight into one hand and the other. So noticing how does it feel this morning as we start to shift our weight into the floor, into each and every finger, noticing how it feels to shift side to side on those knees. Of course, always taking care of our knees. If we have any extra things that need a little love there, we can always pat our knees as well. So making choices. And then even the tops of our feet. What does it feel like to have some pressure on the tops of our feet? We don't normally walk around like this during the day. So especially in the morning, what does it feel like to change up those movement patterns that we typically do every day? So what does that feel like? It's kind of like a cat, right? Cats like they knead into the floor and all that. That's what I want you to feel like. So just taking an opportunity here, feeling ourselves in all fours, feeling both hands, tops of the knees, tops of the shins, tops of the feet pressing down. Feeling that core engage, wrapping those shoulders down and back. We're going to extend one leg out. Now we have the option to keep the foot on the floor here. We can even do a little shifts forwards and backwards as we start to bring a little bit more weight into the shoulders and into those hands, pressing away from our mat here as we're starting to shift forwards and backwards. Now, if you want a little bit more activation of the core, we can start to flex that foot and lift that leg. Check out, what does that feel like to engage those abdominals this morning? And then if we feel like we need a little bit more, we can find the opposite reach of the hand. So we have one arm and one leg down as we reach out with the foot and the opposite arm. And then we'll come back down to center. Switching to the other side, extending the opposite leg out, maybe just shifting forwards and backwards to start, noticing how that feels in the body. And then maybe when we feel centered and grounded, we can lift that leg, checking out how that feels this morning. And then the other option is to reach the opposite arm on out if you're shaking somebody's hand, allowing that focus just down the floor. And then we'll come back to all fours. So finding your little spinal balance flow this morning. We can go fast, we can go slow. You can make it big, small, all the options. So we'll take an inhale to expand, whatever that is for us. Maybe the foot stays and the arm reaches. And then we find our exhales, we come back to all fours. Inhaling to expand, whatever version that is for us this morning. And exhale as we bring ourselves back down. Pressing heavy into the floor with that hand, reaching it out and lower. Feeling our strong core. Feeling that foundation through the front of the body and the back of the body. Finding our flow here, spinal balance, activating those abdominals, relaxing through the shoulder, and continuing with our breath. We have our inhale to expand, exhale to lower. Inhale to expand, exhale to lower. A couple more times, bring your intention back here. Again, this might be a great time to repeat your intention depending on what your intention was. So as you repeat your intention, as we find this flow here, how does that feel in the body? Again, if it's an intention that needs a little bit more power, a little bit more strength, as we start to activate that core, you might really start to feel it. Or if your intention, again, is about ease and softness, how could we find something along those lines as we're activating that core? Again, just paying attention, how does it feel in the body as we bring that intention forward? So as we find ourselves, we will even out our sides. Again, I know we're not symmetrical beings, but we'll at least be symmetrical in the number of repetitions. And then we're going to press ourselves all the way back into child's. Now we can have wide knee child's pose. We can have knees together. Arms can extend out in front of us. We can also allow the hands to reach behind us. Maybe we allow the forehead to touch the ground. So finding our expression of our child's pose here. Allowing ourselves to be heavy through the pelvis, heavy through that head, maybe even a little rocking side to side across our space in between the eyebrows on the ground might feel really lovely. So making some choices here, and we'll just take a moment to breathe. So feeling that big inhale. Maybe we start to feel the expansion through the back here. And exhale, let it all go. Breathing in and out of the nose. Or if we are feeling extra warm, we can always open up the mouth for the exhale to let go of the heat in the body. So it's up to you. So wherever we are, we're feeling the expansion through the back on the inhale, and then on the exhale, we're letting it all go. Inhaling. And long exhale. And one more cycle of breath here. Wonderful. And we're going to come all the way back into those all fours. And here comes our first downward dog. All right, tuck those toes underneath ourselves. Just to start, notice how it feels to put the toes down on the floor now. Super strong through those hands. And then we're going to lift the pelvis on up as we reach into the downward facing dog. Now, option is to always keep those knees bent. And we can pedal out those feet. What does that feel like this morning, working and waking up the backs of those legs? So moving as we need to, pressing one heel down, maybe the opposite heel down, taking our time here just to be in the body. Again, not a normal position to maybe do at 7 a.m. So noticing how it feels in the body to do this movement. How does it feel to invite kind of some big expressions physically this morning? Changing up our patterns, right? Changing up the way things maybe used to be or have been, especially when we're starting to set some new intentions. We gotta start to notice, we gotta change things up and make some different choices. So wherever we are with our downward dog, just allowing ourselves to find an inhale and exhale, let it go. One more time, finding that inhale as our heels are reaching towards our mat. Exhale, let it go. Shaking the head yes and no, let go of any tension there. And we're going to slowly allow our feet to walk. But before we walk up to the mat, we're going to crisscross our feet today, just to change it up. So we allow one foot to cross over the other. Again, changing up some of these patterns that we have in our bodies. So we can start to change up the patterns of our choices during the day. And allowing ourselves to be heavy, micro bend of those knees here so we can allow that chest to just fall over the thighs. And allowing ourselves to be heavy, feeling the weight of the head melting down towards our mat. Feeling grounded through the four corners of our feet. Big toe, pinky toe, inside the heel and outside of the heel. Bending through, taking an inhale. And exhale. All right, on our next inhale, bending those knees, swooping the arms to the side. We're gonna come all the way up. Woohoo! You did it. You made it to the top. All right, so here is where we're gonna grab our ball. So whether you have a tennis ball or a racket ball, whatever it may be, just grabbing that ball. We're gonna do a little footwork here. So you can either have the ball in your hand as we start, or you can have it on the floor, whichever is easier for you, but just so it's in range. All right, so we're gonna start feeling our feet. Now, I know we did that as we were hanging over, but now we're gonna do this as we're standing. So we're gonna think big toe, pinky toe, inside the heel, outside the heel. So we really want to spread out those toes, just like this. Imagine that our toes could do that, right? So we want to think about spreading them out as much as possible here, just as we're starting to feel into the ground. And you can just have a nice, easy, grounded knee bend here, so a nice micro bend. And we're just going to start to rock forwards and backwards. So what does it feel like in the body here as we start to shift our way forward and backwards? What needs to happen? Our body is super, super intelligent. So our body knows how to catch ourselves, right? I mean, unless we go too far. But for the most part, our body really knows where our edge is. So as we're starting to go through it, as we start to go forwards or backwards, notice how the body automatically counteracts our balance. So what's engaging? What's releasing as we start to shift forwards and backwards. And you may notice balance might be a little bit different today, depending on how your night went, or how your morning has gone. So just checking in with the body. And then when we're ready, we're going to go side to side here too. Now, obviously taking care of our knees and our ankles. But what does it feel like to go side to side? So coming on the inside and the outside of the foot, and then we go in the opposite direction. Again, taking care of our knees, obviously, but just noticing how does that feel when we shift our way from side to side? How is that different than going forwards and backwards? It might feel easier in the body. It might feel more challenging. Who knows? Just kind of depends on what's going on for us. And then we'll allow ourselves to make some circles. So here we are staying grounded as we go around in one direction. Going as fast as slow as we want, checking in with that breath, of course. So finding that inhale and exhale. And then we'll go in the opposite direction as well. So noticing one pattern might feel more natural than the other. One way, I should say. And then we're going to make a figure 8. So how can we start to shift our weight in a figure 8 pattern? And moving in the range of motion that is right for us this morning. But what does that feel like as we start to, again, move in a figure 8 pattern? Again, probably not something we do every day. If you do, please teach me your ways. But this may be not a normal pattern for us to experience. So what does that feel like in the body? And then here comes the real fun one, going the opposite direction. Figure 8 in the other way. What does that feel like today? Checking back in with that breath too, noticing if we're holding our breath, especially as we start to invite some more complicated movement patterns into our body. Does our breath seize up? How can we continue to move through these more challenging physical patterns, maybe rewiring some of those movement patterns in the body, making sure that we continue to breathe with them. So once we feel satisfied there, we'll come back to center, noticing any movement, I should say residual movement in the body after those different movement patterns, noticing how our breath is, noticing the thoughts in our mind right now. All right, we can let that go. Now, taking our tennis ball or racquetball or whatever ball you have, and we're going to place it underneath our foot, and we're just going to simply roll on that foot. Turn to the side here. So I'm going to start from big toe down to the heel. So I'm going to be working through that arch right there. And we can give as much or as little pressure as we like here. We can go as fast or as slow. Again, just big toe through the heel. Just starting to wake up our literal foundation of our body, right? Our feet take us everywhere we've ever been in our lives. And I think sometimes they get forgotten down here. So we want to give some extra love to the feet. Then we'll come into the middle of the foot. So about, second toe, third toe space into our heel and rolling through. Coming through that arch again, putting as much pressure or as little pressure as we like. And then we're going to go from pinky toe all the way to the heel. Noticing again how our breath is. We're holding our breath. That might be a sign that maybe we need a little less pressure. So making choices here. So we got those 3 arches. So we got the one towards the pinky toe, the middle of the foot, and then the big toe. And then we're going to place the ball, hope you can see me here, place the ball underneath like the ball of the foot. So the toes just kind of relax over. And we're going to put a little bit more weight there. So the toes just kind of relax over the ball just like this. And we can just breathe easy here. Again, making choices about how much pressure we actually want to be putting on. Depending on how hard your ball is, obviously the less pressure. We'll take another inhale. And exhale, let it out. Awesome. And then we're going to come to the middle of the foot. This is where my spot is. So making sure we are really listening to the body, honoring what the body needs. So if the pressure is too much, we can always let it go. So finding an inhale here. And exhale. And then we're going to come right underneath the heel. So right before the heel actually is there, we're going to find a little pressure there. Again, relaxing through the foot as much as we can. Noticing how this side feels. Finding that inhale. And exhale. And then we're going to come into the actual heel itself. So finding, again, as much pressure as we like today into that heel. Feeling that breath. Inhaling and exhaling. And then we can just take another couple of little rolls of the foot, especially if there's a spot that really felt it. And then we'll just let that go. And then place your foot back into the ground. What do we notice? Do we feel any shifts, any changes? It's allowing that foot to be super, super grounded, seeing how it feels. Awesome. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So taking the ball to the opposite side, and we're going to start with rolling the ball from the big toe down to the heel. So working on our medial arch here. So big toe into the heel. See how this side feels. Now again, you're not symmetrical beings, so one foot may feel different than the other. It's all good, just part of being human. So noticing where it is coming up on this side. Again, bringing our awareness back to the breath, making sure we have long inhales and long exhales. Calming the nervous system down, especially with those exhales. Pressing into the foot as much as we like. And then we'll come to the middle of the foot, so more third, second toe down the middle of that foot. Ooh. Checking in, excuse me, checking in to see what is happening on this side of the foot. And then we'll come into the pinky side of the foot as well. So pinky side into that heel, rolling through that arch. And as we're doing this, we might start to check back in with the mind as well. What's going on in the mind right now? What's happening? What do we feel? Any thoughts? Any stories that are coming up for us? All right, and then we're going to take the ball underneath the ball of the foot so the toes can just relax over, and we'll put as much or as little pressure as we like into that ball. Breathing, inhaling. Exhaling, let it go. And then we're going to come about mid-foot. Again, same thing, giving yourself as much or as little pressure as you need. Inhaling. And exhaling. And then right before the heel, same thing here, finding that inhale. Exhale. And then we'll press into the heel itself. Checking out how this heel feels on this side. Finding our inhale. And exhale, awesome. And then we can just do a couple little rolls of the foot again if there's any spots that need a little extra love. Figuring it out, feeling it, and then we'll just set it to the side and plant both of your feet. Noticing how our feet feel now. Checking it out. Grounded, heavy through those feet. Just for fun, we're going to reach the arms all the way up. Bending the knees as we come into a forward fold, allowing that head to be heavy. And if you like, we can start to extend through the knees, or we can keep a micro bend in those knees, but just noticing, does the back of your body feel any different? Are you able to stretch a little bit more after rolling through the feet? No need to push or anything like that, but just noticing there what's happening. Shaking the head, yes.
And shaking the head no. Bending those knees, move it up to the side, arms reach out. Reach it all the way up, big inhale. Exhale as we lower. Wonderful. All right, we're gonna do a little somatosensory exercise here. I've heard it called the magic minute, which is something that really, I'll be honest, blew my mind when I did this. So I want to share this with you because I think it's a really great example of the power of our mind. And when we set those intentions to get our day going, we really can start to make that happen in our day. So what we're going to do is we're going to do, again, a little pre-test and a post-test. Just facing forward, I'm going to turn to the side so I have range of motion here, but I'm going to be grounded through my feet. So parallel with our feet. And our knees are going to be slightly bent. So the bottom part of our body is not going to move at all. We're going to be super grounded here. We have our foundation. We're just going to reach right arm or left arm, whichever arm, out to the front. Now, keeping that shoulder connected, so down and back, we're going to rotate from our core. And we're just going to notice in the room, how far can we go? Again, knees are just going to stay pointing towards the front. But just noticing as you rotate around, look at that hand and where in the room are you rotating? No need to pressure or, force anything. Just noticing, like, okay, yep, all right, my hands reach about to the middle of my couch. Okay, let that go. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna turn back to we're gonna reach our arm to the front and we're gonna take our arm to the side. And now we're gonna allow our head to turn and look towards the fingers. So just relaxing the shoulders down and back, nice and easy through the abdominals. Shoulders are open. We're gonna just take a couple of breaths here. So finding that inhale. And long exhale. One more time, long inhale. Exhale. Awesome. And then just release it on down. All right. One more thing. We're going to reach the arm to the front again, taking that arm to the side. Now taking your opposite arm, we're going to place it on our cheek. And we're going to turn our head to look towards the fingers, but we're going to take our eyes to the front of our body. So our head is turning towards the arm, but our eyes, again, we're finding that sideways look of our eyes. Our eyes are looking towards the front of our body. So opposite with our eyes as we're holding here. Nice and easy with our breath again. We'll take a couple of breaths here. So inhaling. Exhaling, let it go. One more time, we'll take our inhale. And exhale, let it go. Allow the eyes to look forward. Relax it all the way down. All right, now here comes our little post test. So check out for yourself. Coming back, take your arm forward and rotate. Noticing if we can rotate any more, maybe it's different, maybe it's not, whatever it may be, all right? So that in itself might maybe go like, I just rotated so much more. Now here comes the magic, okay? So I'm just gonna turn just because of my my physical space here, but you can stay where you're at. Other side, okay? So let's do our pre-test first. So arm reaches forward, and again, same thing, grounding through our feet. The bottom part of our body is not gonna rotate, we just have a rotation through our spine. So again, noticing in the room, where do you get to? Wherever that is, and then just releasing. Okay, now here's what we're gonna do. Instead of physically doing this on the opposite side, we are only going to imagine ourselves doing it, okay? So feeling grounding into our feet. If we can, I invite you to close your eyes. So feeling into our body here, shoulders are just relaxing down and back. Now visualize yourself reaching that arm to the front of the room and then taking it to the side. So the arm is reaching out to the side, shoulders relax, and then we allow the head to look towards the fingers. So here we are with our arm to the side, and we imagine that we are looking towards the fingers. We are visualizing our body, arm to the side, head is looking over the fingers, finding the inhale and the exhale. And feeling your body in that position. Inhaling and exhaling. All right, one more time. So again, just visualizing, taking your arm to the front of the room, rotating it to the side. So arm is reaching out to the side. Taking the opposite hand touches the cheek.
and turns the head towards the fingers. We allow our eyes to gaze to the front of the room. So we have our arm to the side, opposite arm is pressing into the cheek to turn the head. Head is looking towards the fingers, but our eyes are looking away towards the front of the room. Visualize yourself in that placement. Feel yourself. Taking an inhale. Exhale. And one more time, inhale. Exhale, let it go. Now we can open up our eyes, and here comes our post test. All right, arm reaches to the front and finding that rotation. Now again, if you were able to rotate a little bit more, if not though, that's all good too. But noticing just by visualizing things, we can make them happen. So that's why having that intention at the beginning of our day can be so, so powerful. And then when we couple that with our movement, we're gonna rock this world. We're gonna change it. All right, let's take a big inhale up. Exhale, forward, forward, forward fold. My words here. Bending down as we relax down to the floor. Placing our hands down to allow ourselves to come all the way down to the floor. We're going to allow ourselves to come into our placement for our Shavasana. So if you need to bring in any blankets or any pillows or anything like that, by all means, have them right next to you, because we're going to do a little meditation to finish off our intentional practice today. So wherever we are, let's just take ourselves all the way down. Use your body if you need to get down to the floor. And before we come into our Shavasana, let's come into knees to chest. So just allowing the knees to bend, allowing the back to be heavy, and just rocking side to side. So inviting any movement here that you need. Now, if you feel like you need to do a shoulder stand or a headstand or whatever you feel like your body really needs, by all means, this is your time. But if you feel like just some small circles feels good, that's your choice too. All right, so just kind of settling into the body here. Taking the knees to one side too, just a little easy spinal twist here. Noticing how the back feels after some different movement patterns in the body, allowing our body to create new options. So we don't have to always be doing the same choices every day, especially when we want to make some different changes. All right, and then allowing the knees to fall the other side. So allowing the knees to twist to the opposite side. And nice and easy here, taking your time. Wringing out anything that we don't need for the rest of our day. Easy with the breath. And then we'll allow ourselves to come back onto our backs. And if we like, we can extend the legs out long, coming into our traditional Shavasana. You can have a bolster, you can have a blanket. Like I said, you can have a pillow. Anything you need to feel cozy. And we can close the eyes. Checking in with the body again. So we'll start to come to a close with our practice today. And I'm going to be reading a little guided meditation for us. So making ourselves comfortable, we can close our eyes. Take a deep breath and let go of any tension in our body as we settle into a more relaxed posture. Feel ourselves dropping from our mind into our bodies. Feel the weight of our body sinking into the surface we're resting on as we become still more comfortable and relaxed. Consider the quality we've chosen to focus on today. or our intention or our focus or our thoughts. Imagine that those words are floating before us in space, and visualize it clearly spelled out. The words or the letters glowing with light. This quality or intention or affirmation and the light that surrounds it come from the highest source of all creation, from the center of the universe. It is living energy, a message for our heart, mind, and soul, and brings with it tremendous power and support for us. Imagine that light from this word, this quality, they're flowing into us through the top of our heads. Envision and feel it flowing all through your head, face, and neck. And let it flow down our shoulders, into our arms, and out of our hands. And experience the light of this quality flowing into your chest and upper back, our abdomen and lower back, and into our hips. And let it flow down our legs and into our feet as it connects all the way through our bodies. And now hear this word, this quality, or this affirmation, as if it were being sung to us now by a heavenly messenger, or perhaps spoken to us by someone we love. Allow the sound of this quality or intention or affirmation, its very essence, to resonate throughout our bodies, touching into every cell and awakening its meaning and potential everywhere within us. Allow it to expand throughout our energetic field, the aura surrounding our bodies, as it radiates all around us. Take a few moments to experience this. Perhaps there's an even higher aspect of this quality or intention, an even deeper meaning you can discover. Allow your higher consciousness, the guiding force in our life, to reveal the highest aspect or deepest meaning that this affirmation or intention might hold for us, especially today. Take a few moments to receive any new information or guidance system may have for us at this time. Now let's use our creative imagination to project this quality forward with us into our day. Envision ourselves doing the things we might normally do, enhanced and supported by this intention. Be sure to include our relationships and meetings with other people, perhaps at work or with family and your friends, and see them responding to us in positive ways. Take a few moments to visit one scene and then the next, spending time where we'll gain the most benefit. As we bring this quality into our lives, more and more opportunities present themselves, and we experience each event and every encounter in richer, deeper, and more meaningful ways. With this intention, a whole series of positive changes continues to unfold within and around us. Now gather together all the positive energy we've created through this process and bring it to a gentle focus within our heart. Feel, see, and hear this energy collecting itself into a small point of light in the center of our chest, and experience it gently pulsing there, steadily and softly. Know that the positive energy of this quality is available to us anytime during the day by simply reconnecting to our heart center. It's almost time to bring this process to a close for now. So gradually we'll direct our focus back into the body by inviting small movements through the fingers and the toes. Bringing the focus to the breath, allowing our inhale to be a little bit longer than our exhale. And we can start to bring a little bit larger movements into the body, allowing ourselves to wiggle the elbows and the knees, even into the hips, as we bring ourselves to one side of the body into a fetal position, allowing ourselves to settle in that place. Taking a moment to just breathe. And then when we're ready, we'll gently press ourselves to a seated position, allowing the head to be the last thing to arrive. And we can bring the hands to heart center, placing them against the chest. This positive energy place for ourselves, feeling our heartbeat, having gratitude and appreciation for ourselves and for others this morning. When we come forward, we place our hands down on the floor in front of us as a reminder that we are connected to everyone and everything that has walked and moved on this planet, bringing all that energy right back into our own heart center, feeling our heartbeat, having gratitude for ourselves for showing up to our mat today. Opening the palms up towards the sky is a reminder that we are connected to everything in this universe, all of that power and knowledge and infinite wisdom. We can funnel right back into our own heart space by bringing those hands back to the heart. And in this moment, let's reset that intention for ourselves today. As we step off this mat, what is it that we want to bring into the world for ourselves or for others? Set that intention. Know that it already is. Bringing the hands up to the third eye. And the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.